go with. And we're also, because we're a smaller group today and it's a little bit more of a lunchtime lounge room discussion show today, we're going to talk about all things intimate. So we want you to join in. We want to get your feedback. We'd love for you to email us, send comments on Facebook so that we can discuss as we go along some of your intimate things as well as ours. So stay tuned for that. And also a little bit later in the show, we're going to have Amanda Hall talking about all things about the universe and Mercury retrograde.
Right. Yeah.
Hasn't that been a big one?
Oh, my God. Wow. It's been a nightmare this year, hasn't it? This month. Oh, my gosh. Everything that could go wrong with computers went wrong.
Well,
Internet,
actually,
everything.
speaking of Mercury retrograde, Nikki Stewart, we've just been told her computer has just gone bung. So she won't be, unfortunately, joining us today for her predictions because of, thank you, Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
Great. But hopefully Amanda is still with us because we need you to talk about how we all deal with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Without being frustrated.
Without being frustrated. So get your questions in by email, which is allaboutyouu@gmail.com. Now, also, if you want to go to our website, it's www.allaboutyouz.com. If you want to have a more in-depth reading, because we have explained before that the readings we're doing from here on in are more snapshot readings. So if you want to have a more detailed reading, please go to our website, hit panel, and you can organise to have a reading through there. You can also purchase one of our products and we do use PayPal. Okay, guys, let's have a little bit of chatting to get started about all things intimate. All things intimate.
Is this X-rated today?
Pull out the cone of silence.
The cone of, I think we put the cone of silence and off we go. So it's really just talking about sharing, and I think that sharing and talking about issues that we all have is very good for helping people overcome
Yeah, because
their issues.
sometimes people think that because we're in this profession and we get guidance and we're in tune, etc., we don't have problems. But we do. We still go through exactly the same as you guys do, whether it's love, betrayal in friendship, and, you know, a boyfriend leaving you, health issues. We all deal with it. We just deal with it in a different way.
I think it's what people, when they go to see a psychologist, for instance, they think that that person is above them or has overcome. But, you know, just living in the world, just getting up every day, getting out of bed, showing up, getting dressed and showing up. Sometimes just that in itself is a challenge. And we've all got to go through the challenges of keeping our jobs, whether we lose our jobs, family, health. So I thought today it'd be a really good day for us with this more relaxed lounge room lunchtime show, that we just talk a little bit about all things personal. So for me, I'm going to share some of the challenges that I've been through with getting older. And next week I have a fabulous birthday on the 3rd of January where I turn 54. There you go. It's out there. Wow. It's done. It's out there. So I'm not looking forward to it, but it's there, and I'm still going to make sure I have a cake to celebrate it with my very dear friends. So, yeah, I've been through some issues, especially working in TV with a lot of people that have aged with me along the way, either before the camera, in front of the camera, or behind the camera. And what I've experienced as a makeup artist with how I've helped some women overcome some of their personal, and I'm talking deep personal issues around aging.
It's
hugely confronting.
I'm going to be 55 this year in August, and it's really confronting when you get to your 50s what happens and what disappears.
Yeah, and I'll never forget.
Actually, we disappear.
Disappear.
I was actually talking to a woman in Manly this morning, and she was saying that, well, she didn't say how old she was, but I imagine somewhere late 50s or early 60s, and she was saying, well, I don't have to matter because I'm in the invisible group now.
The age of invisible.
Wow.
Because people's reactions are different. There is a different. There's something that changes around you. It's weird.
I think also I'll never forget. I was actually in this studio. It would be about 15 years ago, and I was working on Info Break, and there was the lady that was the regular infomercial presenter, and she said to me, "Oh, I don't think I'll be doing this much longer." And I said, why? And she said, because I've just turned 40. Now, this is to be about 15 years ago. And what I love is that people like Sandra Sully and Ann Sanders and Chris Bath, they've just blown that out the water and said, no way, honey. Sonia Kruger, I'm staying in this industry no matter what. So they've kind of broken that code. But 15 years ago in TV, 40 really was the
cutoff.
It was kind of like the cutoff point. It was like the cemetery. And she said to me, I have reached the age of invisible. And I said, well, how do you know that you've reached the age of invisible? And she said, I'll tell you why, Viv. She said, every Friday, my husband and I go to the same liquor store to get our bottle of wine for dinner on Friday night. And she said, for years, whoever is working behind the counter at the liquor store will always have a little flirt with me. And she said, I've noticed in the last couple of months they don't even see me anymore. There's no flirting. And they start calling me things like ma'am and miss. Can I help you, ma'am, or miss? So she said, I've become invisible. And I didn't really think about it back then because I suppose I wasn't in that mindset. But I can see when I was working with these ladies in front of the camera and seeing the issues they were going through. And also, they're my heroes because they have managed to just say no.
Well, don't you think it's the programming again? Because the expectation from society of when you're old, you're going to look like this, you're going to cut your hair, you're going to wear whatever. Where I saw something on Facebook the other day where they had an 80-year-old woman that started working out when she was 50, and she was so bodybuilder. You saw that.
It's incredible.
How's that for inspiration? So it is your mindset as well. If you expect to get old, you're going to get old. If you think you're going to get wrinkly, you're going to get wrinkly. If you have a different mindset and go, nah, I know I'm going to age, but I'm going to have laughter lines and wise lines, and I'm going to focus on the wisdom and the joy and the detachment of life, because you do go through a bit of a different scenario of detaching from things that you probably worried about when you were younger.
Yeah.
Then it's actually awesome.
Do you find that you worry less about things as you get older? Because I so do. I just don't worry as much anymore.
There's no point in it. What's the point in it? You worry about something, it's not going to change it.
Someone actually said to me that when you turn 40, you'll worry less. And then when you turn 50, you'll worry even less about things, or you worry less about what other people are saying about you or thinking about you. And I actually noticed that at 40. You know, there were things that I wouldn't let myself do in my 30s. And I was like, all of a sudden, I hadn't actually done a course or personal development in that particular, about turning 40, but I just noticed that, I was a bit more chilled about things. So there's also age there, but I think what you were saying, it's the story we tell ourselves, it's the words we use, it's the beliefs that we actually hold on to.
Absolutely.
It really gets in the way, and it can really support us or it can really diminish us. Many years ago, and I don't have children, I've got a dog who may as well be my child.
Is your child, anyway.
But the thing is, a few years ago, this was around my mid-30s, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was about 35, and he was talking about how he needed to prepare the backyard for the old man who'll be mowing the lawn. And I said, who's the old man? And he said, oh, me. And I was like, wow, it was like I was living this completely different life and just, I think sometimes even having children and watching the kids grow as fast as they do can actually make you feel older. So you've got to snap yourself out of it.
Well, it's an interesting age, this age of invisible. And Sylvie's just written in and said that she's totally in line with us with the invisible thing. She said she's been dealing with it for years. Thanks for that feedback, Sylvie. And it really is something quite significant in society. And that's why I think it's great that we tackle these issues and we talk about them, and we actually support each other as a community to get through it, because nobody gets away. Nobody misses out. Once we hit that, what do you call it, that elevator of life, the escalator of life, we hit it as soon as we're born, and we keep moving forward and we don't go back. It doesn't matter how much Botox we use, it doesn't really change the fact that either we know or our bodies know that we're getting older. And I think that there's two ways of tackling it. And one is do the best you can with what you've got.
Absolutely.
Try and look after your fitness and your well-being and your health, your mental health, your physical health. And learn how to dress and change your hair and your makeup as you age.
I think that's a big one. It's the really dressing and the makeup and the hair.
Yeah.
Because I struggle sometimes with certain dresses now, a way of dressing to what I was before. So the last 10 years, it's really been a bit confronting. Oh, I can't wear that anymore. Oh, it doesn't look the same anymore. So that's confronting because you've had a habit for 30, 40 years, and all of a sudden you've got to present, you've got to reinvent yourself. It's
Yeah,
reinventing.
and I think also it's important, one thing I'll say about that is a lot of women think if they wear a bigger top or a bigger dress that it's going to hide things.
And
it actually
doesn't.
It makes them sometimes look
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on from there, and there's so much we could talk about that, but, you know, let's keep the discussion open. What about you, Peter?
What about me?
Yes.
With my things. Do you know, it's interesting about... The first thing that really comes to mind, Viv, you know, we were talking about it before the show, and I was talking about, you know, and we were talking about something, but I've thought about another issue, and it's about being in relationship. I actually think that, you know, I love my partner, and it's a great relationship. And prior to being in this relationship, I've had a few relationships, and there was a habit. And this is me really disclosing here, but there was a habit of mine where I'd look at my partner and sort of wish that they would show up differently. I would wish that they would actually, if you change, then I'll be happy. And it's actually through this current relationship that I'm actually learning that it's got nothing to do with your partner at all.
It's all to do with us.
You know, but I feel like I'm just catching up. You know, it's like I feel like I've just had a light switched on, the penny dropped.
But don't you think that
But
that's the biggest thing you can possibly learn? A lot of people don't ever catch up to that.
And I'm sure people told me
And
this.
I'm guilty of that. Big
so
time.
what I've actually been doing, and this has been probably in the last year and a half, I've actually been focusing more on, instead of trying to change my partner, John, you know, I'm trying to just do what feels natural for me, to do what feels good for me. And I've actually found, because it feels scary, because it's like, well, if I don't show up like that, then my partner won't be happy and they'll leave me or something like that. But I've actually realised...
Being authentic to you.
Yeah, but, and it is about being authentic, that's right. And also, the more I'm actually doing things that make me feel good, our relationship's gotten better. Because it's like, because there's the energy exchange that happens in a relationship as well. And we're actually in this space where we think it's just the verbal communication, and that, you know, my partner won't notice if I'm cranky with them or something. They notice.
They notice.
Oh, yeah. In a heartbeat.
Yeah, and
I
so
know.
it's very
What about all
humbling.
that underlying stuff, all
exactly.
that resentment and,
Yeah, and that
you
just
know,
sits in your gut.
yes,
Because no
all
one
that
wants to talk about
covert
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
I've got an absolute radar for covert. I can't stand covert. It's just like I can smell it a mile off. So don't kind of smile and nod.
And
This
you
is
know
in a
there's something
relationship when you know that
behind.
you're boiling and you want to say it. Just say it to me. Let's get it out. Let's
My
deal with
last
it.
relationship was like that. Every time I tried to talk to him, he'd shut down. And, you know, being psychic, you read things and you pick things up on people. And I'd say, I would read something, go, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. And I know that he wasn't. I knew what was going on. But I got fed up with trying to diagnose and be a psychic and say, well, I'm picking up this. Is there a problem here? Oh, well, there is actually. You know, so it's really important
But I think I have to say the funniest one was my former husband and I are still best friends. He's actually my best male friend, and I love him dearly. Des, he lives back in America now, and Des was, you know, a psychologist and healer and astrologer and everything. And he said to me when we first got together, very good-looking man. Everyone confused him with George Clooney.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Man from the South with a Southern accent.
Oh, nice.
So anyway, we came to Australia and he was extremely popular. And he said to me, Viv, let me tell you something about men. They're going to make out that they don't look at other women, but we look at other women.
Yeah.
And he said, when you say to your partner, were you looking at her in her hot dress over there? And they say, oh, no, darling, I was just looking at the dip on the table.
They're lying.
So they're lying through their ass. He said the best thing to do is to be honest with each other and you share it and it dissipates the energy.
Absolutely.
So whenever I would say to a partner since then, were you flirting with her? I think I've got your number. So,
Love that.
and also, Marg was telling me from upstairs that your partner is perfect. He don't need to change a thing. He's so gorgeous.
It's true.
And he is.
He's lovely.
He is.
He's lovely.
Okay, and you, my
And
dear?
me,
Yes.
and me. What would you like to talk about then with me?
Well, The table is your oyster for conversation.
Okay, well, let's talk about some health stuff, because there's a lot of people that have got health issues.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with health issues my whole life in all sorts of ways, through people with schizophrenia and people with bipolar, people with Tourette's, in close sort of circumstances around me. And even myself, I've gone through, I had a brain aneurysm in 2011, so that was very confronting because it was facing life and death. And then there was a brain tumour that was discovered. Then I had a neck operation where they nearly paralysed me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Because you said you woke up out of the operation and
I couldn't move. When I had the neck operation, they'd actually bruised my spinal cord. So I was putting my head down and getting bzz, bzz, and getting these electric shocks right down my legs. And that went for about 3 months, 6 months before it started to subside, only because I took arnica tablets, which are great for internal bruising. And eventually I just focused on the positive. I didn't focus on the pain. I didn't focus on the frustration. Yes, I cried my eyes out for a few days, and then I just slapped myself around and got back on it and went, no, I'm getting through this. I'm going to heal this. Talked to my guides, talked to the spiritual, took the arnica, and just allowed my body to heal and kept really positive. And as that happened, then I sort of progressed, and now I'm okay. I have a little bit of neuropathy down an arm, but other than that, I'm walking and I'm running and I can swim, and I'm very grateful, very grateful. But it's very confronting health stuff, but you've got to remain very positive with your health, because everybody goes through it, and especially as we get older. Yeah. Things, if you've been drinking a lot of pop when you're, as I say to my kids, my boys, if you're drinking a lot of Coca-Cola and stuff when you're 20s, then expect maybe you could have issues in the pancreas and diabetes later. So what you're putting in your body now and what you're exercising and everything is very important for when you get to your 40s and your 50s and your 60s. And if you haven't done the work, you're going to have to deal with the issues and sorting out the issues as they come up. But they are sortable. You can, fix them. You can heal. But it's confronting.
Yeah, and I think that it's a holistic approach.
Yeah.
It's great to be able to source support with healers such as yourselves, as well as your own mechanisms of the willpower. And I think positivity and mindfulness are huge.
Absolutely.
I'd love to talk about that in depth one day.
Absolutely.
It's interesting, you're just talking about food as well. I don't know if this is an age thing, and putting it out there to, for Facebook comments, if other people actually have this experience, that I'm finding, I'm 48, and I am finding that if I eat the wrong food, I almost get an instant
me too.
response.
Oh, yeah.
Is that an age thing?
Yeah.
It's more sensitive, yeah.
It's an age thing. It's just an age thing.
Because just before Christmas, I stopped eating grains. And I had a little bit of, panettone and Christmas cake, but over Christmas. But I really didn't eat a lot of food heavy with rice or grains or, wheat or anything like that. And I've just noticed that I feel so much lighter. I just feel so much better. And I think it's having less sugar. Yeah. Because if I have sugar or really heavy starchy stuff and wheat, then I just feel sluggish and bloated.
Yeah. Well, I had chronic fatigue in my 30s and I stopped eating wheat. I haven't eaten wheat for 22 years. Yeah. If I have a little bit of it, because I have to have that bread roll at the dinner table, I feel it the next day. Bloated. Immediately. I feel bloated, I feel exhausted, I feel like I'm getting the flu. I think a lot of people out there have a wheat allergy or different allergies, don't know it, and they're constantly suffering with flus and colds, and they don't realise it's an allergy.
And dairy as well.
And dairy,
There's
that's a big one.
A lot
Dairy's
of people
a big one.
have it, that nice little comfortable wind release after a but the thing is, people don't realise it's actually an allergy.
It's an allergy. All things
yes.
And I love the way that you even did the little
Well, I was trying to find a politically correct way of actually saying it.
That was beautiful, We'll be staying away from that milk. Don't drink any of that milk.
Don't drink any of it.
No, none of our
Well, it's cow's breast milk, isn't it?
That's we actually can't digest after 8 months of age. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other show. All right, moving on to our readings, and we'll have a little bit more of a discussion later. One for you, Peter. This is Andrew, and he's born on the 14th of April, 1982. Can you please give me some guidance with regard to my current job and career moving forward? Many thanks.
Okay, Andrew. Well, hope you had a great Christmas. And just tuning into your energy, Andrew, about your career, You know, I actually do see you at a doorway. For starters, you're in a year 9 of a 9-year chapter, and you start your year 1 of the 9-year chapter on your birthday in April of next year. So you're in that cleanup sort of period. It's a time of endings, and this really naturally is a time when people are looking for change. I do see that what the area or the ideas for you around your career is that you're looking at the moment, and it feels like it's looking at a few different options before you actually take the leap of faith. It feels like there's some decisions, especially like study-wise, investigation, early January, February of this year. I do see a shift in your work where, you know, the door's wide open, and a shift coming around July for you. So there is a job change coming, career change. In terms of the areas for you, you're a natural teacher. You're very hard on yourself. So, but you are a perfectionist. So it's areas that require that sort of discipline and the the focus that you bring to it, because you're very much all or nothing with your work. So good luck, big changes, 2017, bring it on.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, Rayne. My name is Kylie. Kylie's born on the 20th of the 10th, 1985. I've just had surgery on my left wrist, been put off work, so I'm now jobless, have 4 gorgeous children. Can you tell if things will get better and what 2017 holds for me? Thanks, guys. Love the show. Thank you.
Well, the first thing I heard in my head from my guide is follow your dreams, follow your dreams, follow your dreams. So what I'm feeling like this has happened for a reason, and this is really for you to change a little bit of direction in your life, because I feel like that what you were doing wasn't really satisfying at a deep level for you. It was more of a let's just get the food on the table and the roof over our heads. And I think that this is giving you time to reflect and to have a look at your next direction. And I do feel like there's a direction coming for you around about the end of February. And there will be another job. It's something that's a little bit unexpected and coming out of the blue. I'm going to just pull some cards and just have a quick look for you. But yes, a lot more business this year. Look, there's definitely a big change. I wouldn't go back to where you were. I'm not sure if you can, but you're quite artistic and you're quite caring. There's also a little bit of spirituality stuff around you as well, as in healing modalities. Funny, we're talking about healing. So I would say have a look at some of the healing as, I wouldn't say a hobby, but something that you can introduce to your life, and maybe you can add it into your life as you grow older and as you become more experienced. But for now, it's more about sort of artistic sort of things that I see you sort of getting involved with, or even, you know, shops that have artistic stuff around them, clothes shops, stuff like that. In the meantime, I'm talking about not as a career, but there is definitely a nice expansion coming in March. It's coming in very, very quickly. There is a good opportunity coming from a male, and it is a little bit unexpected. So I wouldn't worry. I'd use this time to heal and use this time to be with your children, and just relax. Don't worry too much. Ask them for what you want. I always say, talk to your guides, talk to the universe. Say, you know, I believe in the cosmic ordering system. So if you go into a restaurant and you say, give me a meal, and you get frog's legs or you get ute size, you're going to not be happy about that. But if you take it from the menu and go, I want roast beef, or I want prawns, or whatever it is, it's the same with the universe. You have to be direct. Ask them for what you want. I want to have a job where I'm earning $150,000 a year and I'm working, enjoying myself with a group of people, of 5 people or whatever it is, and doing my passion. You will get that. But if you think, oh no, I've got to put bread on the table and I've got to put a roof on my head, and no, I can't do my dream, I've got to be practical, you're never going to change. And this period of time now, with the endings and saying goodbye to the year 9 and coming into the year 1, means you've got to step into courage and take risks and go after your dreams. Life is too short. Look how many deaths we've had just this year.
Even in these last days of our 9 universal
of the 9 year, bang, bang, bang.
Just
Carrie
like
Fisher, I thought it was a hoax at first. That was so sad.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And then her mum.
Did her mum die?
No.
Well, Debbie.
She died today.
Debbie died today.
Today.
Do you know what? I was watching something on her last night on an interview of her and Carrie, and I thought she's going to die of heartbreak because she's had so much heartbreak in her life, Debbie. Like immense heartbreak.
And
from
she
the
always had this
to...
thing where she wanted so much for that long time
she
to be close to her daughter.
daughter.
And her daughter had all these issues with her apparently, and they kind of worked them out.
But Debbie had a really abusive mother when she was younger that used to lock her in rooms and flag her.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she had a lot of stuff to get through. Then she had a husband that went off with Elizabeth Taylor, and then her daughter went into the drugs and everything else.
Yeah.
So there was so much that this woman has dealt with and hasn't really talked about it. She was a strong, beautiful
and she was always graceful.
Always graceful.
In front of camera.
Always
like
classy.
She was a lady.
Beautiful.
She was an absolute lady.
Very comical.
Well, she died of a broken heart.
She did.
Anyway, at least now they're together.
Yeah.
They're together.
Yeah, they went quick together, didn't they?
Okay, just a few shout outs. Steve is watching from home. Hi, Steve. Hang on. Air kiss. Air kiss, Steve. I love you. Adrian, Hayley. Hi, Hayley. Lots and lots of love to you guys. Thanks for watching. Sylvie, Marsha, and I also want to thank Annette McKenzie for doing our beautiful makeup job today. Now, Annette and I go way back. We used to work together at Channel 7, and it was interesting me being in the chair today, and I was talking to her the whole time she was doing my makeup, and she had to actually say to me, Vivienne, shut up. I'm trying to do your lipstick. And I was like, ooh, that's what I'm usually telling everybody else to do. Anyway, thanks so much for the beautiful hair and makeup today, Annette. We love you. Okay, a few more readings and on we go.
All right.
Snapshot readings, please, so we can get through as many as possible Marg has asked for.
Okay.
All right, over to you, Peter. 5th of the 7th, 89, and this is Adrian. Can I please ask for what next year holds for me career-wise? Should I change paths or should I stay in my field of education? Thanks, everyone. Love the show. Thank you for loving the show.
Okay. All right, Adrian, let's have a look. Just feeling your energy. You're in a year 3 of a 9-year chapter, Adrian, and so this is a year of getting rubber on the road and making some changes happen. As I'm looking at you, it really feels like you've been paving some new territory and you've been sort of forging ahead in a direction that's really sort of pleasing you. Now, and that's in your life in general, but it feels like around your career, it feels like there's a few things that need to be ironed out because it feels like there's a few niggly things that are getting in the way there. Now, looking at you, you're very ambitious when you set your mind to something, and you're very loyal. You can be stubborn, but you've got a high tolerance for just sort of putting up with difficulty or challenge. You know, you're also and you're a bit of a multitasker. So with all of that there, it's kind of like you can sort of take a little while sometimes in order to make a change or a decision. Now, in regards to your work and where you're actually going, I'm actually getting for you that in 2017, it feels like there's, I want to say, ironing out the direction and the path that you're actually in, developing a sense of greater peace of where you are really wanting to put your energy and your focus. Now, it feels like you're going to be sort of working through some projects, challenges in the first few months of 2017. And it actually feels, I want to say the first half of 2017 is really, really focused on head down, bum up. You know, just really, really getting on with it. There's opportunities that are coming for you in around February, March that are going to really, really lead to some big ideas. But ultimately with this, in terms of change, what I'm seeing instead of actually a change is more fine-tuning and sort of letting go of some of the mental clutter that's getting in the way. So I want to actually say some of the things that we talk about on the show here is getting in tune with yourself, taking some time out for you to maintain that balance, not putting up with crap from other people that you're taking on your shoulders unnecessarily, and that's going to lead to a clearer path next year because we need you to be solid. All the best for 2017, Adrian.
Yeah,
thanks.
And if you're not happy in your situation, you know.
Yeah, it feels like sometimes we do take on stuff from others and it like I was saying before about the relationship, if everybody else shows up the way I want them to, then I'll be happy because I'm trying to meet all of their perceived needs. And we do that in the workplace sometimes. So sometimes we actually got to go, do you know what, my opinion's okay, my direction's okay. They can all have their opinions, but this is the path I'm actually going to take. This feels good. I don't need to play these politics. I'm just going in this direction. And sometimes you need to annoy people or irritate people in order to actually do what's true for you. And it feels like that's not just for Adrian, that's for me, that's for a lot of us, you know, in order to be able to pave our way forward in our home, in our family, in our work. You know, it's important.
Well, that's how the pearl was made in the oyster, from the irritation from the grain of sand.
Exactly.
And over time, that creates a pearl. So irritation and confrontation, sometimes as uncomfortable as it is a necessary evil in order to be able to make change and move forward. Otherwise, we're just stuck with this inertia.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we could stay like that. And I see some people stay like that for their whole life.
Yeah, yeah.
In their families, their relationships, their work.
They never go after what they want.
No. And
someone once said to me that the irritation is, because we live in a world of mirrors, and the irritation is a mirror showing me something that I'm not okay with within myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if someone's being selfish over there and I'm irritated by it because I'm actually not valuing myself.
Or you've got that selfishness in you that you haven't yet acknowledged.
And that's sometimes even harder.
And sometimes we do need to, because we won't own our selfishness.
No.
You know, like I had to a few years ago own my inner control freak. You know, I could see it in other people and it annoyed the crap out of me, but I couldn't see it in me.
Well, what is it? All those years ago, Shakespeare said, in judging others, we define ourselves.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And
How smart was Shakespeare, hey? So we should listen up.
Yeah. And I think that I think that that's what you said about the mirrors is so true, because I always judge myself of what am I seeing in someone else that's irritating me, what's triggering me. If it's triggering me, then I need to deal with it in myself and heal it. Because I think the Nirvana and the Enlightenment and the Buddha and all those sort of people, that's what they had. They understood that you're living in your reality, you're living your own. I know myself so well that your discrepancies or idiosyncrasies or whatever is not affecting me, because I've dealt with it and I'm healed. But I'm acknowledging it, but I'm not judging it or criticising it, because that's part of our growth. You know?
Yes.
So everybody's a mirror.
And we notice, and this is
That's
actually,
very true. Very true.
We're noticing what's important to us all the time. We don't realise it. If I could just share a really quick story. I was at the Bali airport and I was looking at someone who grabbed a bag off the carousel and just ran off. And I thought, how many people just take off with the wrong bag?
Yeah.
Now, 15 minutes later, when I was at the taxi, I had the wrong bag. You know, so I felt so stupid.
It was a warning to
because, you know, here am I, you know, like I was about to run a retreat and blah, blah, blah. But the thing was, it was really, really... But the thing
I
is,
can't
when you
believe
notice...
I did almost the same. I did worse.
Yeah.
I was at LA airport and I had a little green ribbon on my bag. And I was saying to somebody next to me, oh, it's really, because they said, oh, everyone has black bags. I said, yes, but mine's got a green ribbon, so I know my bag. So I pulled my bag off, got on the shuttle, went all the way from LA airport for about an hour and a half's drive in peak hour, got to my apartment, dragged it up 2 sets of stairs, very heavy, overweight bag, as it already was, opened it up to a bunch of dirty Bonds underpants that weren't mine. Rang the airport, said, oh, can you come? And they said, no, this is how it works.
You got to bring it all the
You
way
get back on a shuttle, you bring the suitcase back, and you'll be goddamn lucky to get your own back. And luckily, the chap that got my bag had left it there, but he'd already flown to New York. So he was very unhappy. But you know what? It's a good idea to wash your underwear before you pack it. Really good idea.
Yes. That's great. I love it.
There was no chance of me keeping that bag. Sorry. No way.
That's so funny.
There was no Victoria's Secret in there, I'll let you know. Lots of other secrets I didn't want to discover. I put it back up and closed it up straight away.
Disinfect.
What was it too, Kitty, our floor manager, was saying about Debbie Reynolds and Carrie, that Debbie always had to one up? Was it? One up.
Carrie always used to say that Debbie would one up her, so...
She's done it again.
She has.
She has.
She's done it again.
Wow.
Well,
took away.
at least we know they're together now, which is, you know, small mercies. All right, some more readings, guys. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Rain. We have Sharon. Sharon's born on the 30th of the 12th, 1971. Feeling rather frustrated and hoping for a change in 2017. Thank you in advance. Isn't that lovely?
That's beautiful. I can see a lot of reflection in this year coming for you, a lot of deep processing for you. So you mightn't be as social. You're definitely going to be looking more outside the box, so to speak, at the philosophical, mystical stuff like that. So let me have a look. I'm going to do some scrying for you because I really love the scrying. So I'm going to get Pete and Viv to just choose a colour and the amount of drops you want me to put in. So could you...
Pink and 2.
Pink and 2. Is that the only colour you want to choose?
And blue and 1.
Okay, so we have pink and 2, and then we have blue and 1.
Feels good, so decisive.
So decisive, yep. Okay, Viv, what would you like?
Oh,
There's red there as well.
green.
You want green? How many drops?
3.
3. Do you want
Thank
a
you.
different colour, or you're happy with that?
No, I'm happy with that.
Happy with that?
Yes.
Okie dokie. So we have Sharon, yes? Sharon. All right, Sharon, let's have a look and see what's going on with you right now. I'm going to put a bit of... Ooh, look at that. Well, you're overthinking. You've got love here. You've got a little heart here, up the top here, a little pink heart. So you've got a lot of love and friendship coming in around you. Oh, look at the explosion here.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
you had a lot of thinking. There's a little bit of issues with your digestion because that came up pretty much straight away. So you would be looking at simplifying your nutrition a little bit and not having as much spice. And again, like we were talking about wheat and stuff like that. You've got a couple of possibilities here. We've had 2 explosions. So there's definitely 2 opportunities being given to you this year. It does look like it's a growth year. It looks like that you're in a little bit of a protective box. So for me, you're making decisions and you're making progress next year, but it's really not until 2018 and 2019 where you're really coming into your own and you're really coming into yourself. There's a little bit of a horse type of thing that I'm feeling here with a bit of a mane type of thing happening, which means that what I'm feeling is that there's movement coming and there's a little bit of a shift of directions for you. So you might start to do one direction and all of a sudden get an opportunity, and it sort of leads you in a little bit of a meandering way, but to something that's very, very special. So I'm really feeling like April 2018 is very significant for you, but this year is very much about help coming at the right time, good friends coming around you, you being more selective and a bit more picky and having a few more boundaries. But also I'm seeing this as an angel type thing,
Beautiful.
you know, with these wings here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of intervention and there's a lot of angelic stuff around you. In other words, there's spiritual presence making itself known in your life and knowing that you're not alone and you are being supported. And like we were saying before, stop worrying. We can worry and worry and worry. It's not going to change anything. We can worry about how do you pay your rent and how you eat and how you pay your car bills and how you pay that. But at the end of the day, we get through it. So the worry is really pointless. It's a habit. It's something that we've seen our parents do, we've seen the school do, our friends do, so we pick it up and we do the same. Just drop it. You've got a lot of beautiful energy coming in around you. I do feel a lot of healing energy around you. So I would say this is a beautiful year. But if you haven't got love in your life, you've definitely got love coming in your life, and it's going to be the center of your life. So if you have been in a relationship and it's been a bit wonky, as I say, it's coming back to life. If not, you've got this beautiful soul love, the true essence of the word, where you're going to feel very, very supported in your life. So just go with the flow. There's no rush. You know, it's not a competition. You don't have to be there within a time limit. It's about the journey. Just enjoy every moment. And you've got some beautiful moments this year coming, but 2018 is your woo.
That's
Stunning,
amazing.
isn't it?
That is a really beautiful pattern.
It is.
Like I've seen them all.
You've seen them all.
That one's very clear and simple.
Which
and
is
strong
why
and
it's
pretty.
it's beauty. Pink's the love.
Yeah, it has
Growth
clarity.
is the green and money. It's clarity, but in the middle here.
Yeah.
You can even see a figure starting to appear
And almost
here.
like the tree of life.
Tree of life, in other words.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff coming in this
Yeah.
year. But the achievements are 2018 for whatever you're doing this year.
It's very beautiful.
So
Can you see
beautiful.
anything you want to say?
Yeah, but no, I was getting before mountain range, you know, like having to sort of go through
Go
some
through
sort
some
of a mountain.
challenges.
But now it looks like a beautiful, once you get through that, a beautiful valley.
Stunning. Yeah, exactly.
So that's for
It's such a-
2018.
Well,
or 17.
she's going to have a good year this year in the
But
sense of moving back.
2018
The
is-
pinnacle for me of her achievements of 2017 is in 2018.
Got you.
So for where she
Yeah.
wants to be, there's another 12 months. But it's not saying that nothing's happening. It is happening, but in a different way. And there's more love and friendship and support coming for you than you being on your own and struggling and, like you said, going through the mountains and finding your trail. You're coming into the valley. So things are opening up.
And I think you can make really important decisions to use the year to be a year to build.
Productive.
You know,
to be productive.
That is a very strategic thing,
Yeah.
is I'm going to
Yeah.
spend this next year, 12 months, 3 years,
Yeah.
with that goal in mind.
And it goes like that, doesn't it?
This day and age, I don't know about you guys, but 1 year goes in about 3 weeks for me.
Well, my shaman, when I did my
Feels like
shaman
it.
training, he taught me that you only do a 30-day plan. So you look at the 30 days, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to produce? What do you want to manifest in this 30 days? And you do it in those segments or increments, because otherwise you'll get overwhelmed with the timing.
That's great.
In a year's time, I've got to do this. No,
Yeah.
just do it in 3-month periods and see. And if you've got anything left over in your list that you haven't done in the first 3 months, put it on the next one and then add. That's your priority for the next 3 months. And that's the way you go forward. Otherwise, it's too much. Oh, how am I going to be that actress? How am I going to be that musician? How am I going to be that politician? You know, I've got to go through this. There's so much work to do. Yeah, it's overwhelming. Just 3 months periods, you know.
Beautiful.
Okay. Good advice for all of us.
Yeah.
30-day increments. I think
like
those
that.
things are much more achievable in 30-day increments. You're
For
right.
me, it is. I can't.
3-day
You
increments.
know that where
3
will
hour
you be
increments.
in 5 years? You know,
Where am I going to be in 5
That
years?
question always stumps me.
I'm going to be 59. How wonderful.
So funny.
Yay. Okay, let's move on for Jane,
All right.
who won't be 59. For her son, his date of
For me?
birth is the 24th
September.
of September 1989. Can you see him getting married? Thank you for that, because I couldn't
Okay.
find that anywhere. I wasn't getting anywhere with that.
So do we have the son's name or no?
I'm so sorry. Mark has just told me that's actually Rayne's question.
Ah, cool.
Oh,
cool.
okay.
Oh, that's
Peter
cool.
is for Jade. Okay. All right, so Jade, 1/11/75. So we're changing this all around for you. This is all happening in 1 minute increments.
All right, Jade.
Okay.
What?
Oh, right.
11?
Jade is the 1st of the 11th. No, we're changing some of the readings around from upstairs.
Ah,
so,
cool.
And I'm getting it all
to
wrong.
keep us all on the toes.
Jade, 1st of the 11th, 1975. Yes. Welcome to All About
All right.
You. What is it? Just
Near the end of the
keep them on the toes.
Mercury retrograde. It's
Mercury
okay.
retrograde, yes. Okay, 1st of 11/75. My nana, Eileen Shirley Butler, passed away close to 3 years ago. I was very close to her. I was wondering if she had any messages for me. That's it.
Okay.
Messages.
All right, from
Jade, 1st of the 11th, 1975.
All right, now.
Nana Eileen Shirley Butler. 3 years ago, she passed away.
All right. Now, do you know, I'm going to be really, really honest here. You know, when it comes to me with mediumship, you know, it's something that I really need to sit for a few minutes and just, you know, in order to tune in. So what I will do, Jade, is I'll just feel the energy around, because, you know, in this space, because, you know, because we all work differently, and some people get the mediumship straight away. With me, I just need to sit for a little while.
What we'll do then you're right?
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that?
yeah. So I'm very happy to do that. But
Do you want to do, in the meantime, we can do,
Yeah.
move
want
over
me to do
to
a
you,
reading and
Rain,
you
and you
tune
can
in?
do the next one while you're tuning in.
Would that help you?
Would that help you?
okay, yeah, cool. All right.
You can tune into her a little
Okay.
bit. Gives you
And so you'll
time.
do Jane and cool.
Well, I'll go. Yeah, I'll do that one
okay,
while you tune
beautiful.
in.
Sounds cool.
Working as a team.
All right.
Jane, for her son, date of birth is the 24th of September, back to 1989. Can you see him getting married?
Look, there should have been a person around him already. What do we got here? He's 28, yes? Is that right? 28, coming into 28? So he's just
yes.
turned 27. I do feel a woman around him. I do feel a female around him. So I'm not sure if she's 100% right. He's a difficult one. Sorry. He's very particular and he likes his freedom. There's a little bit of a fear around him of if he makes... what he'll lose if he makes commitments, or he's in two minds about this, really. I think that he really loves the females, but I just don't think he's quite there yet. I think you're going to have to wait just a little bit longer. Is he going to get married? Absolutely. But I would say that he's going to get married within about the next 5 years. Well, let's say the next 2 to 5 years. I don't see anything next year in that way for him. I do see people, I do see dates, I do see interests, but I'm just not getting that. No, look, he's not going to have it next year. And I don't think you should push him about it. I think you should need to relax about it. Some people everyone gets married and has relationships at different ages. Some people don't. I have a 26-year-old that doesn't want to get married or have kids ever. And I'm okay with that. That's his choice. That's his journey. Your one is a little bit the same. He wants to do things. He wants to achieve things. He wants to travel. He wants to earn some money. He's a little bit unpredictable, but he likes to be able to be spontaneous. And when you're in a relationship, you cannot be in that way. So I would say that within the next 3 to 4 years, yes, he will get married. There is at least a commitment type of a relationship for him coming. And there could even be possibly a boy child in the future. But it's not going to be for about 3 to 5 years. It's definitely not this year coming. He's got too much to do. He's got too much energy. And he's quite, I would say that he's going to be quite excited this year because I get a bit of excitement and a little bit of defocus. So if he starts to study again, or he starts to learn something on the side, I really feel like he wants to move around and travel a little bit and explore before he settles down into this sort of area. I feel like he's been working really hard, but give it another 3 to 5 years and yes, he will be married. And there is a grandchild for you. So you will experience that.
And I think some people are free spirits.
They are free spirits. My son doesn't want to get married or have kids ever. That might change. I just go, okay, I don't care. If that's what you want, that's what you want. I'm fine with that. My other one wants one, so I'll get one eventually. But I don't care because it's more expense.
It is. I never thought of
it
that way.
And the babysitting and all of that.
Because I always say to my son, I can't wait. And he's 22. So when we're, in a shopping centre and there's always a little baby sitting, at the table next to you when you're eating in the food hall, and they do the little, and I do the little back, and then my son Bo goes, I can't wait. And Bo goes, yeah, well, you might have to. You're going to have to wait.
Look, I had a woman today who asked me about her 16-year-old son and is he going to fall in love and find a girlfriend? I went, he's 16. Give him time. Why do you want him hooked up and experiencing all this so early? Yeah. I find that the crystals and indigos today don't want that. They want their freedom. They want to live life. And they sort of settle down a lot later in their 30s, if ever. Some of them don't want to. They just want to be themselves, like George Clooney. He eventually did in his 50s, but he had his life living, earning his money, enjoying himself, and then now he's committed to somebody. It's personal choice. You can't force someone to be like you,
Well, once again, that's that mirroring thing, isn't it? It's really a projection of what
they want.
Rather than what the person wants. Which is fair enough. I mean, I'm very keyed into what my son does.
Yeah.
And think that's natural as a mum. But it's also important to understand they aren't us.
No.
And they do have their own spirit, their own life, and their own uniqueness, and they come in with their own purpose.
Yes.
And I just remember years and years ago, my father was so, you're going to work in the family business, you're not going to study acting, you're not going to become a journalist, you're not. And I finished up working in a chicken factory for 8 years. Because Dad wanted me to, really,
Yeah.
Okay, so back to you. How are you feeling with that one from before?
Okay, well, what I'd actually do here for Jade is I'm actually really feeling Jade's stuckness. And so what I'll do is I'm going to focus on that with the actual reading because, it's actually, like I was saying, when it comes to actually mediumship, I don't usually do it in front of the camera. It's something that I need more space. But Jade, thank you for your question about your Nana, Eileen. And what I'm actually getting here for you is feeling that at the moment I'm feeling a lot of clutter around you, and I'm feeling a lot of stuckness. It feels like there's some decisions that need to be made in order to clear the pathway for you. And the thing is, I am actually getting that this is coming from an older lady. I'm actually picking up an older lady on your dad's side of the family. So, this is actually where this is coming from. And it feels like there's something that is being encouraged in order to be able to, there's decisions to be made. It feels like we've been sort of tolerating something for a little bit too long, and now's the time to actually make the change. The changes for you feel like it's, because it feels like it's impacting you on a few different levels, feeling a little bit even disconnected from your purpose in where you're actually wanting to go. It feels like, I want to say, even tolerating a situation that you're a little bit unhappy with, even in your day-to-day life with work, or it feels like seeking some freedom, feeling hemmed in, needing to actually do it. So the support that's actually coming for you in spirit is that now's the time to actually make the decision. Don't let fear hold on to you any longer. Now's the time to break free, because we are actually, and also don't put too much pressure on yourself, because like we were talking about before, sometimes we say, man, there's like 100 things in my life that I need to fix right now and I just can't cope, so I'm just going to stay stuck here. And it feels like this older woman from your dad's side that I'm actually picking up, it feels like there was it's almost like there was a bit of a stuckness with her energy, and it feels like it's actually, she's kind of saying, no, don't do it like this. Actually, like, really clear things out. Don't wait until you're on your deathbed in order to do what you'd really love to do. Have the courage to make these changes. And there's a lot of astrological support on your side in order to make that happen in 2017. So I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for overcoming that challenge.
Yeah, that's
on today's
cool.
All About You improvisation show. Just
it's vulnerability
going
day.
with the flow. This reading, no, that reading, no, back to you, Ray. No, I'll do the reading myself. No, back to you. It's like throwing a reading and catching it.
Cool.
Thanks so much. It's live TV. Okay, a few shout outs from our viewers at home. Thanks, love it when you guys do that. So we've got Tat, Sinead, Marg, Christine all the way from Ireland. Hi, Christine all the way from Ireland. Raymond, Antonella, Ali, Robbie and Zoe. Hi, guys. Thanks for your support. Keeps us going. And also, guys, if you do want a more in-depth reading, please go to our website, www.allaboutyouz.com, and you can click on the panel tab and you can have a 2, 4, 8 question reading and you will receive your reply via email. We also have a fabulous store on our website, so there's a whole bunch of range of beautiful things to buy, and we do have PayPal available as well. So you may not be able to get an elongated reading or get a reading as quickly as you would like on the show, but these guys are available at any time to be able to provide that service for you in your own time. Moving right along. Moving right along. Okay, Maureen. The 26th of April, 1966. My question is, do you pick up a time frame for love? Man friend, please. Not quite sure what that is.
A man friend that could be turning into a love, I get.
Man friend, yeah.
I feel like this person's coming in quite
friends.
soon around you, actually. Could you choose? I'm going to let you do this. Three
I'm
of
so
these.
excited.
Hey, choose 3. Thinking of
Thank
Maureen.
you.
That'd be awesome.
Thank you.
Can I just say something too? I just want to say with the crew, the production, the cameraman, you, Peter, all the psychics, Amanda, Nikki, we all come here and we dedicate our time for free because we all believe in this show and we all believe in each other and we're all very supportive of each other. And I've heard a few comments over the last few months of, you know, you guys earn a lot and da-da-da. Actually, we don't always. We do a lot. We do a lot that people don't realise that where we don't earn. But we enjoy it, and that's why we're here. We're here to help you. We're here to teach you, to educate you, and that's what this show is about. But everybody is dedicating their time here for free, for love, and for passion. So I just wanted to make that
is so
known.
well said, Rain,
Beautiful.
and congrats to you for saying that, because I think the commonality between all of us behind the camera, Kitty's here every week and often at the very end of a very long day's work. So they've been recording in studio all day.
And then they come here.
And all the camera guys, Rennie, all of you
and
guys.
And they don't get
Gary,
acknowledged because
and
you don't see
standing here
that.
sometimes at the end of an 11 or 12-hour day already for us to be on a Monday night.
Absolutely.
We've all done our jobs during the day, but we do it because we believe in it, and we do it because we believe in Marg's been really trying to get this show up for a couple of years, and well done to you, to our EP Marg, and we're all in it together with that same common desire to actually get good information out there to help people.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
And
Well
it's
said,
very,
Rain.
and it's very unique as well, being on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that we're probably one of the few programs, you know, around the world that's actually this professional and on Facebook Live every week.
The beginning of a new online era.
Yeah.
And, you know, having worked in TV for as many years as I have, I'm seeing it really change. The platforms are really changing. And I think we are at the herald of a whole new wave of media.
Very, very much. Okay,
All
so
right,
we'll go back to
moving right
Maureen.
along.
Sorry, Maureen. Just had to get that in there.
And one more
one more, please. So this is about the love. Let's hope you pulled the right one. It's okay.
Oh, no.
It's okay. Okay, look, you've had a bit of issues with men here. You're not putting your boundaries up. You're doing too much for them. There is a secret kiss coming. There is somebody coming in that is being intervened by spirit. They're bringing you the right person because you're now ready. You've shifted. You've changed. I don't know if you stopped dating for a little period of time and spent time with yourself, but whatever you've done has worked. There's a lot of emptiness because you've given too much in relationships here. You've allowed them to make demands on you. You know, can I get you a coffee? Yeah, I'll make it. I'll do dinner. I'll drive you. I'll pick up for you. No, this has to stop. You have to, you know, and I'm sure you know this now, the boundaries. There is someone coming. When the time frame is, okay, can you pick a time frame? Just one. Okay, so within 5 months, I would say everything that you're dealing with now and a little bit of the emptiness, a bit of the isolation that you're feeling, or the disconnection, I should say, is going to be over within a 5-month period. So I would say that this person is coming into your life. Oh, he's dark. Oh, yeah. Look, what are we now? January, February, March, April, May, June. So you're looking at between June and August when this person seems to be making an appearance around you. What was the year? She was...
Oh, okay. Sorry, let's go back to the right page.
1966. Okay. Don't know why I asked that question then. I feel like he's a little bit younger than you. So don't have expectations of the age and everything. But again, ask the universe. You want, you know, a man that's 6 foot. You want someone that's loving, that's giving, that's aware, that isn't too demanding, that has a nice balance. I always say if you ask the universe, add the balance in because you can get too much of one and too much of the other. So you want it balanced. So between May and August, there's definitely a nice man coming in for you. He does have a son. Or he could possibly have 2 sons around him, but they seem to be grown up. This is a nice relationship. It's very compatible. So there is love.
Lovely. Thank you.
Beautiful.
And now I have a reading for Vivienne. Born the 3rd of the 1st, 1963. When is her tall, dark and handsome man coming into her life?
Oh.
Joke. Joke. I'm doing fine. Okay, so, rightio. Peter, we have Tracy.
Tracy.
1st of the 10th. 1978. Can you tell me if things are going to improve with my family?
Okay. Hello, Tracy. Okay, let's have a look. So, Tracy, you, what I'm getting for you here is you're very thorough. And so there's, so you do care a lot about all the people that you love and the people that are in your life, and it feels like there's and also you can be it's not perfectionist, but you can actually be hard on yourself if things aren't turning out the way you'd like them to for yourself and those around you. It feels like you've been let down quite a few times, and it feels like trust has actually been broken a few times for you, and you've had to put up with that sort of disappointment. And so forgiveness has been something that's forgiveness and tolerance and just putting up with some crap actually in order to be able to ride the wave of peace, you know, has been a big one there. And you've even foregone some of your own, I suppose, peace or happiness or joy in the world in order to be able to meet all of the requirements and circumstances around you. I want to say to you that that there will always be stuff outside of you with other people, and so the focus really I'm getting, you know, like with every person, every reading is going to be take care of yourself first and always put the oxygen mask on yourself. What I do get though is that there's going to be some finalization of some outstanding issues early in because it feels like January is going to be quite a hairy month for you. It feels like there's facing some I suppose some deadlines, or there's things where we can't actually just hide from the reality. And January's going to actually, you know, we're going to have to call a spade and see it how it is and just move through it. So there's some challenges to move through, but it feels like in February there's going to be, you know, an opportunity for you to be able to receive the support around you that's going to really open the doorway to a shift for you in order to, I suppose it's not that that things are going to sort of dissipate and all turn hunky-dory, but I'm actually getting, it's the way we're actually looking at all of the issues that are unfolding. I am getting in 2017, the first January, February, it's just being a bit patient, and it feels like things are starting to get better and moving through. You know, this isn't a magical wand that I'm able to wave for you in order to say that it's all going to be hunky-dory in the first few months of 2017. But I do get that there's really good news in February, which is after some challenges, which is going to help you to be able to pave the way forward a little bit more groundedly. All of the outstanding, I suppose, questions that are sitting there, you'll have your answers, and you'll be able to move through with a strategy. And this is going to lead to, I want to say, more peace around the middle of next year. But there's some big changes that need to be made in order to be able to step into this new terrain that you're operating in. But always put the oxygen mask on yourself. Take care of yourself. It's an important big year for you to maintain that balance. All the best.
Thank you. Okay. Over to you, Rayne. Christy. She's born on the 2nd of the 7th, 1965. May I please have a love reading from any of the amazing psychics on this awesome show?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, Christy.
Thank you to all, and love and light to all.
Aww. Love and light to you too.
Oh,
we're going to do a
and as with Mercury retrograde, we now have more improvisation on All About You. And welcome, Amanda.
Hello, Vivienne. How are you? Hello to everyone. I hope everyone had a very happy Christmas.
We did.
Hello.
Drink and eating too much.
Thank you so much. And more importantly, it was so great having you on the show with us last week. Have you had a great week since then? Because we certainly had a lot of fun after the show, didn't we, Amanda? We stayed up quite late.
We did stay up quite late, yes. I must admit it took me a day or two to get over it because we had very little sleep. And having, you know, a glass of fizz after the show. So my body really felt it, you know. I mean, as I heard you guys talking about earlier, I don't know that it's age that we have reactions to things. I think it's got partly to do with age, but I like to put it more to the fact that we become so much more sensitive as we open ourselves up and work in this sort of area.
That's a great way of looking at it.
We become much more sensitive to the things that we shouldn't put into our body. And one of those is alcohol. Things.
But we try.
It's interesting because, you know, I always used to say to people, and I've spoken about this on the show before many years ago, you know, people had asked me how I meditate, and I used to say, John Farnham, cup of coffee and a cigarette. The cigarettes have long gone, the coffee's just about gone, but John's still around. So, you know what I mean? It's just, I think it's a matter of we have to find what works for us. And it's interesting because you do become that sensitive that you do know within. You know, I can say to people, I can have a look at the bottle of wine and I can have a hangover and I haven't even had to put it in my lips.
I'm exactly the same.
Stupid, but it's true.
I've only got to look at a chocolate eclair and it goes straight on my hips.
I don't need to have a drink.
I know, but we had so much fun. It was like it was kind of like a pajama party afterwards. We just all sat up for hours and it was, yes, they were. It was so much fun. And we're talking about what we've actually been dealing with today, which is Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, it's very interesting, this Mercury retrograde. I mean, yeah, Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year and we all sort of get used to it and, you know, we batten down the hatches and we don't send important letters or emails or parcels, hopefully, during that time, and we don't sign contracts and all that sort of stuff. But this one was particularly different. And I know we've said a lot during the course of this year and the various programs that I've been on that it's been a very tough year for a lot of people. It's been a year of action and it's been a year of change. But this year, I think a lot of things have seemed to be exaggerated, whether it's been a moon cycle or whether it's been a Mercury cycle or whether it's been Saturn or whatever planet we want to blame it on. And even the sun, as it's gone through its journey through the zodiac this year, it seems to have been amplified. Now, I think there's a number of reasons for that. One, I think we're all becoming much more aware and really tuning in and listening to what's actually happening around us, even though people talk about this very self-absorbed society that we live in, that everybody's on their devices and nobody talks anymore. That may be very true, but I think in another way that's helped amplify us to be much more sensitive and much more aware of the things that are going on around us. So this particular Mercury retrograde, which actually started, interestingly enough, Vivienne, the last show we had on the 19th, and we didn't have any technical hiccups, so we were lucky. But it was sort of the beginning of the Mercury retrograde, and because it fell over this festive period, and it's in Capricorn, it was asking everybody to look at the family dynamics. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've had lots of people, lots of my clients phoning me, message me and saying, I don't know what happened this Christmas, but everybody went for a trip down memory lane.
Very much so.
There wasn't as many family arguments this time, but it was more a time of reminiscing, of people trying to mend fences, of being a lot more patient, which is a good thing, and sort of saying to people, gee, do you remember when Nana or Pop was alive and this was Nana or Pop's tradition? And people starting to resurrect those old family holiday traditions that have been long forgotten. And it was a really, really nice way of seeing people incorporate into their family celebrations those people that are no longer with us. I mean, we've only got to look at, I'm not a numerologist, but I can associate with what everybody's been talking about, with all the endings and change and transformation that's been going on in this last 12 months, and the amount of people that have gone on to the higher realms. I mean, every time you turn on the TV or social media, somebody else has left us.
Yeah.
And it's like, my heavens, is there anybody left? You know, I mean, I saw a little thing this morning and there was people there that I didn't even realise that had passed over, and I thought, gee, I must have missed those ones, you know, like, and it's like, well, is there anyone left on the planet? Well, there's still a couple of us left here. But it was an interesting time for everybody to look at this Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is still retrograde, might I add, until the 7th of January. So we haven't finished yet. This is a particularly long retrograde of Mercury, and he is still going to ask us to go inside ourselves and look at what we didn't achieve this year. What was it we didn't achieve that we wanted to achieve? Was there anything that was earth-shattering, anything that we can't prevent or can't move forward unless we tick that off our to-do list? And I think a lot of times when you look at your to-do list for the year, you'll be able to go through it and say, well, that's not important, that's not important, that's not important, I've dealt with that, don't need to do that anymore. And we come down to a very small list. So it's interesting. I don't like to have New Year's resolutions, because I think that's sort of just, what's the point? Let's deal with what's in front of us now, what we need to deal with in the short term. I mean, I think that we do need to have some sort of plans, but I don't think we need to have plans that go 5, 10, 15 years ahead, because then how do we change? How do we evolve as human beings? I tend to like to keep everything short and tight. I might have some longer range plans, but I like to sort of look at what I'm going to do in the next 10 days, the next 30 days, maybe the next 30, 30 months is way too long. I mean, I'm a Sagittarian. I like to do things on the seat of my pants, as I think a lot of people do. And I think it's important that we have these slowdown periods, which is what Mercury is. It slows everything down so we can take a look at what we've done in that last few months. But particularly this year, it was about looking at the things that are important to us. I was really surprised to see that when they started to release the retail figures, that how many people spent so much money. I actually thought this year was going to be a year where people would have gone back to some more basic ideas as far as gift giving, not spending so much money on commercial things, but looking at the handmade or the really treasured sort of gift, there's something that people could take away from that would be important to them, that would touch their soul. Not so much something that we buy today and we chuck out next week, or we've got it on eBay the week after, which should have been a little bit more about personal things. So it's interesting, because the last couple of days of the Mercury retrograde, from the 5th, Mercury will actually slip back into Sagittarius. So I think that's really interesting as people start to go back to work and start the new year. And we're all going to go there enthusiastic and all these definite ideas of what we're going to do and what we're going to achieve this year. And then Mercury slips back into Sag and we say, oh, maybe I might go to the beach instead.
Out goes the resolution.
Oh, I like that.
It's not really over yet, is it? I might book that next overseas trip. you know, there might be a course I might like to do. So work won't be quite as important then for that last couple of days. And it's sort of like we've had such a heavy time with so many planets in Capricorn, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong, it is a good thing. But it's sort of like we can do with this bit of lightheartedness towards the end of the Mercury retrograde too, because we've been so serious and so family focused and business focused and trying to sort everything out and make sure we haven't missed anything and we've crossed everything off the lists and everything's sort of tidied up and put away like a good little Virgo, you know, in its little box on the shelf. Then Sagittarian comes along and says, oh, to hell with that, you know, let's go to the beach, let's have a party, let's have another drink, you know. Oh, you know, we can go out and spend some time in the outdoors. So I think sometimes we've got to be kind to ourselves in those ways too, that we do have to realise that we are human and we do have to live in this world, that we can't always be good all the time. And I know from my own personal experience, and I know we've been sharing things on the show, my Saturn is very strong in my chart. And even as a little child, I always was much older than my years. And I don't think when I was a little girl growing up, I don't think I knew how to play and to have fun and to laugh. Well, I've certainly started to do that since I've got past 21. I've learned how to do that, how to stop and have some fun and have a laugh and a joke and stay up at pyjama parties and things like that. So I just sort of think as we get over 21, Vivienne, I've been thinking about your birthday too, Viv. You're certainly not that old. You're 21. You're turning 21 like I did a couple of weeks ago, and it's just because we should start counting backwards, not up.
Thank you so much, and I really feel that way. I actually feel younger as I'm getting older, especially as I have Saturn in my charts very strong, and I was very old when I was young. I was more mature when I was young, and I'm getting definitely less mature as I'm getting older. So, yeah.
And I think that's a good thing, because I think sometimes we can take ourselves too seriously. I mean, I know you're an extremely hard worker like the rest of our panel is and all the crew are, but there's got to be a work-life balance as well. You can be an incredibly hard worker and very motivated and very dedicated to what you do, but if you don't have some personal joy in your life, something that makes you smile, then how can you continue to give to others? And that's something I think that we all need to be very mindful of. I think particularly as we head into 2017, it's going to be an action-packed year. It's going to be a different year to last year. But, you know, we need to also look at giving some personal joy back to ourselves. And, you know, with everything Capricorn that we're going through at the moment, with the sun being in there and just about every other planet seems to be going through Capricorn at the moment, we've got the new moon in Capricorn today too, which is actually 3:53 p.m. precisely in Sydney, that the new moon starts its cycle. So this will be a time of, if people really want to get a head start on what they might like to achieve in the next 30 days, forget your New Year's resolutions, you can have a head start on that. Set your intent today. Sit down and work out what are 3 things that you'd like to see or like to bring into your life in the next 30 days, and make sure that they're practical and they're doable, and that, you know, they are something that's going to make you feel proud. Doesn't necessarily have to be about something that's going to make you a lot of money. Just because it's in Capricorn doesn't always mean it's about big business and money and structure and about discipline. It's also about something that's going to make you feel very proud, that I can put my chest out and say, I really did a good job there. So there may be something that, you know, somebody that's tuning into the show today thinks, gee, I could just do that. It might be something very small, but it's something that's going to make them feel that sense of achievement. And I think if we can go into 2017 with that positive energy of saying, I've got this sense of achievement, I can really, really move forward, I think that's a good place to start for 2017, because I think 2016, we all went in with this great enthusiasm. It was going to be a year of action. Yes, it was a year of action, but it wasn't necessarily the way people expected it to be. And, you know, sometimes the year of action is about sorting things out. Well, we've done a lot of sorting out. Let's go into this next year with something positive there to say, well, we've got something to kick the new year off in style.
Yeah, I've certainly spent a lot of this year sorting things out and dealing with practical things that I wasn't dealing with before, so that I feel that paves the way. And also, Amanda, talking about tradition, now, interestingly, we've spent Christmas every year for the last 20 years since my father passed away, not having it at home because my mother didn't want to, because it reminded her of Dad. So what we did was we went to the Sheraton every year for Christmas instead. And this year, because my mum now has dementia and she's 85, going on 86, we decided to bring that tradition back, and we had Christmas at home. And it was a day of memories, and we did speak a lot about Dad, and we also had that very Capricorn feel of about doing the right thing and following the traditional Christmas at home. And the other thing that I've noticed a lot of people say this year too is they didn't feel very Christmassy this year. They said it doesn't really feel like Christmas. I'm wondering if that's all the Capricorn planets, Amanda.
Yeah, I feel it's got a lot to do with the Capricorn planets, but I think it's also got to do with, I mean, you know, even though Saturn is in Sag, and you'd sort of think, okay, that'd give you a little bit of more of a Christmassy sort of feel, because Sagittarians just love anything that says party or long distance, and, you know, travel will be there. But I think also too, because there's been so many changes in the world and so many people are in uncertain times as far as, you know, are they going to have a job next year? You know, is their work going to continue and things like that, that I think we all sort of left it until the last minute, not me, but most people did, to go and shop and things like that. In that last few days, everything was in a frenzy because nobody was certain of where things were going. Well, that's a very Capricorn sort of feel, you know, watching your pennies, making sure everything's structured and things like that. And that's what made me think that people might have gone a little bit more the other way with, you know, gifting things that had a purpose or a meaning rather than the commercial side of things. But I suppose whatever people did this year, it was really important for them. And I think it's important that people understand that Christmas should be about your family and your friends, the people that are important to us. It's not about how much money was spent or the best meal on the table. It's about that sharing time and about the time that we'll never get back again. It's not a time to be cranky with someone. It's not a time to sort of, you know, I can remember as a little kid growing up, and I mean, there was always plenty of alcohol flowing on Christmas Day when I was a little girl, and it used to be, you know, they'd get to about 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you'd be separating the uncles, you know, they'd all be ready to punch each other out, you know. And I can remember my poor nan who didn't drink, you know, you could see the look of disappointment on her face every Christmas. Every Christmas she'd be enthusiastic and, you know, having everybody come home, and then by 4 o'clock they'd all be at each other's throats. Yeah. And I used to think, can't they just give Nan one Christmas where they don't have a fight?
Yeah.
And she'd probably been slaving and cooking all day. And
for weeks, you know, everybody, it was a great mammoth event in my family. I mean, you know, in my mother's family, all the aunties had come up to the Blue Mountains and they'd be all bottling fruit up and, you know, making sweets and things like that none of us do these days. And it was, you know, it was this procession of things that got ready and doing all the decorations. And I suppose I was very fortunate. I had grandmothers that were very Christmas orientated. You know, they decorated trees inside and out. If it moved, you decorated it.
I've heard stories about your Auntie Gail.
Oh, yes, my Auntie Gail. Now, Auntie Gail was... God love her, she hasn't been with us for a number of years now. She was a darling Leo, and she always believed that everything happened because she said so. And it didn't matter how old you were or what stage of life you were in. If Auntie Gail said that was it, that your relationship, your marriage or whatever was over, that was it. You didn't argue. You just didn't.
Auntie Gail.
Wow.
Yeah, Auntie Gail.
One of my fondest memories was when she decided that there was something to be sorted out. It always happened in the bedroom, in her bedroom, in her rosewood bed. She would sit up like the Queen of Sheba with all her pillows, the ashtray and the peach and the cup of tea, and the dog would be in the corner. Bucky Fairman was there. Men and children were dismissed.
I love it.
All the women would be brought into the bedroom and told where to sit in your strategic position. Whether you smoked or not, you had a cigarette and a cup of tea. And a cup of tea. But that didn't matter. You did what you were told. And then court would happen and things would be decided. Men would be called back and they'd be given their instructions. I don't know what happened to the children. They probably were still told to be quiet and out of sight. And that was it. The decision had been made. Court had been in session and it had been decided you were no longer right for that relationship or whatever the case may be.
So you had to break up no matter what. Cup of tea, cigarette in hand. Blokes out the door, done and dusted.
You didn't get a choice. You just...
Auntie Gail.
Great.
It just happened.
I think
before you knew it, Uncle Ted was doing whatever he was told to do and everything happened.
So Leo had the last word.
Oh, she always had the last word, and I still believe she has the last word today.
That's brilliant.
I still feel her presence a lot of times. You know, you go to do something and you sort of feel, oh, gee, Gail wouldn't like that. What's it got to do with her?
As long as you don't light a cigarette, have a cup of tea and still ask her. Just sit down in the bedroom.
I do that quite often. I don't have a cup of tea because I don't like tea. I have a glass of water and I tell her that I'm having a pretend Benson and Hedges. Because I haven't had one of them for a long time.
Well, that's what they all used to smoke in those days, was B&H, wasn't it? That's what my dad used to smoke.
Winnie Blue.
Winnie Blue.
If you smoked anything else, that was common. You had to have B&H.
My dad was a B&H man. Benson and Hedges, that was it. Benson and Hedges and a Scotch and milk. I don't know. I think he thought that somehow that was healthier.
That's
all right, we've got a question for you, Amanda. Now, we've got a question for you from Kim. We've not been given a birth date here, and it's a little bit of a complicated question, so just bear with me for a moment. She would like to know if she's going to be a grandmother soon, although a new job has been started, so she thinks she's going to have to wait a bit longer. I'm not quite sure if that's in relation to herself or to... I think it's maybe a daughter that's having the baby, but she's so looking forward to being a grandmother. So I think she just wants to get some insight as to, you know, if that and when that's going to happen.
Disappointed, but I don't think being a grandmother's in her future at this moment. Not this year anyway, or certainly not this year, but certainly I don't think in the first half of 2017 either. I think there's more changes around the family to come. Yep. I don't think her family are yet ready to be parents themselves, and they're the ones that are putting it off because they don't feel the timing's right. I do feel that there will be some divine intervention. Maybe they've got an Auntie Gail in their family too, because I just have Gail flash in front of me saying all in good time and just watch out for September. So I'm taking from that there'll be news in September about the impending expectation of a grandchild in 2018, but I think they just need to sort of relax and let the young'uns get on with what they want to do. I mean, they may not be ready to be parents yet. We all know it's not an easy job, and you've got to be mentally and I think financially prepared to be parents, particularly this day and age. There's so much expectation.
It's also what Rayne was saying before. You know, some people it's not their path this time. You know, I've got a lot of friends in their 30s and 40s that just don't want children. Yeah. They're not choosing to have children. They're making a conscious choice not to have children.
Or to have dogs.
Yes, you got to have dogs. Yeah. You know, my second child is my fur baby. So yeah, that's good advice.
Oh, absolutely.
And also, sorry, Maddie,
that's their choice. I mean, they may not want to be parents. They may have different ideas about what they want to have in their life. I mean, you know, lots of people decide that they're not going to have children, then all of a sudden there's an act of intervention and they have one, and they have to then make adjustments, don't they? So, you know, I know there'll be news of a grandchild, but I don't think there's going to be a big brood. I think she's just got to be happy with one or two.
And that could bring as much joy as a big brood.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Well, you're going to stay with us for the duration of the rest of the show. We're just going to also cover the fact that you are going to be talking about the 12 sun signs next year. So
yeah, we're going to start doing some 4-part series throughout the year, and we're going to kick it off with a 4-part series on the sun. I've had a number of requests from people that watch the show regularly wanting to know how the sun affects them and why it is a sun sign. And your sun sign is your zodiac sign or your star sign, whatever label you want to put on it. So I thought we'd start there. That's the beginning. We'll start with the sun, and then we'll progressively work through the other 9 planets and luminaries during the course of the year. But we'll do 3 each week. We'll put up a graphic on the screen, and I'll put up a couple of words the next day on the Facebook page, so that for anybody that misses what we're saying, you don't have to try and write it down. We'll put up some key points the next day. And this will help everybody start to understand how we pull a chart together, because a chart is a complex thing. It is like, I term a chart at the time you're born as like your Polaroid snapshot of where the planets are when you were born, is like your own personal Polaroid picture of who you are, what you are, and what you're going to develop into. And it's something that grows with us throughout our lives. And when I first got into astrology, I thought that was it. It was set in stone. It didn't change. It didn't grow. It didn't change throughout our lives. But certain parts of our chart we switch on at different times in our life, because I suppose of the different stages that we're at, or the things that we're learning or we're not learning. And, you know, things like we were all talking about before, food sensitivities, that sometimes, depending on where Neptune is in your chart, if you've got Neptune in a particular sign, say Neptune in Virgo, you'll be necessarily more susceptible to food allergies than the person that might have it in Pisces or in Aries. So it's different things that make things up, and astrology is also a very powerful tool for understanding the areas of your health that you need to be concerned about. And that might be something we might talk about later in the year, how your health is affected by your star sign.
I think that's a big one too.
I had a conversation with Amanda last year, didn't we, about medical astrology and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and it's interesting because sometimes you can look at a chart and you can look at where the retrograde planets are in the person's chart and look at that on a past life level and see what's actually shackling them or holding them back, or is that going to be an area of their life that might physically impede them? You know, you see certain people that might have a predisposition to something and it's never been a family history. What is it that maybe they haven't resolved from other lifetimes that's holding them back too on a physical level?
Yeah.
And the chart can unveil so much of that.
Oh, absolutely. You could spend days, weeks on just one person's chart, and I still don't think you'd find it all. And maybe that's a good thing because I think your mind would explode with too much information.
That sounds great. I'll be tuning in.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I've always loved the most with astrology is getting someone that doesn't believe in it whatsoever and
then
saying,
telling
just
them all
giving
about
me
them.
your time, your date, your place of birth, and then you just rattle a couple of things off and they sit there and go,
Oh.
Yes.
how'd you know that?
Yeah, they do, and it's really good when you've got somebody that you're doing that with and they're in front of you, and you might take their partner's date of birth and not even knowing their time or place, and you sit there and start rattling off a few things, and they say, "Are you married to him?" You know better than I do. No, I don't either. You know, like from what I'm seeing here, but yeah, and I mean because it is a science, and that's the thing. And I mean the same with numerology. Numerology is a science. It's not guesswork.
No.
You know, these are facts and figures, and that's why they are what I term as the sciences of, I don't like using the word the occult, but I think that's probably the label that this should come under. It's one of the occult sciences. It's one of the psychic sciences. It's not.
Yeah, it's like Steve always talks about the science of the numbers. Was Pythagoras a numerologist?
Mathematician.
Mathematician and a numerologist. Yeah.
But I heard that he actually got the Pythagoras theory from the Ouija board, believe it or not. That he was the talking board, and that's how he came up with the
different things that have been documented. I mean, Nostradamus was an astrologer and a numerologist as well as a naturopath, and he used to go in to write the quantrams. He used to go in and have a certain amount of opium before he did it. I don't know how much, but
a lot, I think.
Well, that's very interesting. I wouldn't have thought of using it for that, but he did it to alter the state of his consciousness, I suppose, to let go of
the ego.
His own version of it, you know, like what we all hang on to as being human. Oh, that can't be right because...
And that's what a lot of shamans do.
Yeah.
They have to change their consciousness so that they can enter into a different realm and they can understand, you know, things on a higher level. Much more than the mundane, which is what we live with every single day.
And you're right with Pythagoras, because he used to teach mathematics at different levels, and the highest level was the esoteric side, you know, the philosophy,
numbers.
the wisdom of the numbers. But then once the, you know, I suppose religion got involved, you know, then they just got rid of that top layer, and so then it became this completely separated from Pythagoras and mathematics, but it was always there from the beginning.
Well, I often wonder with the Bible, where they have, you know, the 12 signs of the zodiac, they had 12 disciples.
Yeah.
There's a lot of references even in the Bible. You know, I've had a few really good discussions with people over that. Not necessarily calm ones, but you know, a lot of references to astrology were taken out of the original Aramaic Bible.
Can I say one thing before Amanda was talking about Amanda, you were talking about the, I suppose, not putting out your New Year's resolutions for 2017, you know, and I actually think it's a waste of time, you know, putting out your New Year's resolutions, because I think it's just another way of us beating ourselves up. So what I've been telling people, and this is what I'm ascribing to, is to just write down, how would I love to feel in 2017? How would I love to feel at home, in my relationship, in my work, in my life? Because we're actually feeling creatures. We're feeling, you know, human beings are feeling people. And so, you know, if we want that car or that job, it's because of how I'm going to feel when I get there. So let's let go of the target and actually focus on the feelings. And I think it's a more, and it's not too passive, because if we start off our day focused on how we'd love to feel, and we have some sort of a little ritual to get us off,
like
you know,
gratefulness.
Like gratefulness at the start start of the day, then that's going to support us to get what's really, really amazing for us anyway.
Yeah.
Well, like yesterday, my sister and I did the 8-second smile. And you just keep smiling until you feel happier.
Yeah.
Because that's neuroscience. They've proven that if you actually physically smile, it does change and brings in the serotonin and it does make you feel happier. So we call it the 8-second smile.
Well, what you think you
I
are.
like that.
Yeah, the 8-second smile.
You know, would I have time to actually share the, you know, just before the show, I was reading an article and it was from Facebook, but it was about a neuroscience researcher who revealed 4 rituals that you can do in order to make you happier. And the guy who wrote it, his name's Eric Barker. Anyway, the first one is, so there's 4 simple rituals in order to make you feel happier. Because we've all, you know, in some way, we've been sort of battered about this year. It's been a big year. And so we want to start off 2017 with ways of feeling better, feeling happy. And the first one is to ask yourself this question: what am I grateful for? And it's really good because what I really love about it is that they've actually done MRI scans on people when they ask themselves that question. And it doesn't even matter if you come up with a thing you're grateful for or not. It's the question actually changes your neural pathways and it releases the dopamine and serotonin. So ask yourself, number 1, what you're grateful for. Number 2 is to label any negative feelings that you actually have. You know, so sometimes I might feel, you know, nervous or angry or frustrated, and I'm not allowed, you know, I've read that self-help book and I'm not allowed to feel that. But if I actually name the thing that I'm grateful that's, you know, the negative feeling, I'm frustrated, then what it actually does is it actually relaxes the amygdala and relaxes the limbic system of the brain.
It's acknowledging the feeling.
Yes, and brain and neuroscience has proven this actually happens. And the third one is to make a decision. Now, a lot of us at this time of year, we're really after, you know, oh, should I do this? Should I change my job? Should I, you know, whatever that actually is. And there's a lot of really positive support, or, you know, there's a lot of research suggesting that when we make a decision, even if it's not the 100% certain decision, then it's actually, we get a release of the dopamine, serotonin, and we actually feel in a better state. And so it's better for our mental health to actually make a decision. We can always make another decision, but when we decide something, we feel certain, we release so much stress from our body. And the last one is get a hug.
Yay!
Get a hug.
Yeah, get a hug. It's actually to touch more. To actually,
I don't want to fall off my chair.
Because they actually said that the people who are starved of touch actually feel it in the same receptors of the brain as physical pain. You know, so if you if you hurt your leg, it's in the same receptors in the brain as being deprived of touch. So hug more in 2017.
Hugs are important.
I'm a huge hugger.
Me too.
I love hugging.
I
think it's so important. And it does make you feel better.
But what's Amanda been doing? Because you're glowing lately, Amanda. Every time I see you, you're like shiny and glowy.
You got a lot of hugs, Amanda.
Like, you got a lot of hugs.
A lot of hugs going on there.
Oh, yeah, definitely that. But I think it's been like a lot of other people this year. I think I came to terms with personally things in my life that were just sort of always out of eye shot that I didn't want to acknowledge or even own, I suppose, or say, hey, hang on a minute, I have the power to do something to change this, to say, no, this is not acceptable anymore. And since I did that, I felt this different type of peace. And it's interesting because we are human. We do go through things like the rest of our clients do around the world. But I suppose we tend to be put up on a pedestal by our clients thinking, oh, well, they're pretty perfect because they wouldn't have an issue because they can get an answer from their guides or their astrology or their cards or their whatevers. And I always share with my clients, look, I'm just as bad as you are. If I've got an issue, every set of cards, everything comes out.
Will not help.
And if I don't like what I see, then I
Oh, I know. I'm guilty of that. I don't like that card. Pull another card.
So they're all wrong and you go and do it this way anyway.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's a process of elimination. And for me this year, it was about realising that I don't necessarily have to be responsible for everybody else, that I can say, hang on a minute, that's yours and that's yours and this little pile here's mine.
Well, you look gorgeous. You look so much
You're
lighter.
absolutely glowing. You're absolutely glowing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Really. And we were talking about that at the beginning of the show, weren't we? We were sharing our intimate secrets about not, you know, we're not perfect. Just because, you know, everybody has tools, it doesn't mean that we're not going through our own challenges every single day.
And like Amanda says, you can pull as many cards and go, oh, no, I'm not going to take that. But also, don't you think, Amanda, that if you're not meant to know something, it doesn't matter if you're psychic, astrologer, numerologist, you're not meant to know that.
Exactly.
Till the time is right, and the universal, come what may, will not allow it anyway. So we still have to go through the process.
Yeah. Oh, we do. And that's part of our karma or our lessons or whatever. And, you know, and I mean, that's, you know, that's the thing that, you know, and we can all relate to this. We've all had people that have sat in front of us for a reading and they're saying, no, I can't relate to that.
Yeah.
Well, I was one of those people that did that to one of our dear colleagues earlier in 2016, and I thought, gee, she was a bit off base today. Nothing. I could relate to absolutely nothing. Well, as the year went on, it got tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
Tick, tick. And I had to turn around and apologise to her. And she said to me, at the time, she said, I was really thinking, you're not feeling it, are you? She said, and I said, no. And she said, you were very diplomatic. You didn't say anything. And I thought, no, I didn't, because I just thought, well, I can't see that. There was nothing that... I had a set of questions in my head, I suppose, the things that I thought she was going to say, this is going to happen and that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we went a completely different direction, and I was really upset about it.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, well, you know, that's the way it's meant to be. But I think we have to sort of look at, we can't control things, and there is a divine timing for things, and we aren't meant to see everything. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter how experienced we are or how close we are to a person or how distant we are from a person. If we're not meant to have the answers, we won't.
No, exactly.
Until that right time, and then it's when we're supposed to deal with it. And I've come to the conclusion, to get the right answer karmically, maybe we have to have no preconceived idea of how we're supposed to handle it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. A bit like channeling.
That's very, very true. Well, speaking of, we've got one reading left for the evening.
Okay.
And we're going back to Christy, who we had to move away from before. So back to Christy, the 2nd of the 7th, 1965. May I please have a love reading from any of the amazing psychics on the show? Thank you, and light and love to all. So I just said that twice because it was so nice. Thank you very much.
It is beautiful, Christy.
Light and love to you too.
I get the sun coming up around you, definitely. I'm getting sunshine and sun rays. Getting there. Okay, let's just have a look and see what I've got down. I'm just going to do the cards for you. A lot of decisions for you at the moment. There seems to be loads and loads of decisions around the home, whether you want to stay, renovate, move. You know, there's something that has to be sorted out in the home environment. Have you been looking after someone that isn't well? Because there seems to be a little bit of a health issue around someone. For me, this is like a parent type thing, or someone like your parent. Definitely, I guess I'm feeling more of a female. Is love coming in? Yes, there is. Excited for you. You've got a tall, dark, handsome man coming in here. He's from a different culture than you, though. He's working within the money industry. There's also some investments and stuff, so he definitely is an owner of property. This man is in his, I'm getting around 60, 62, that sort of age. Let's go 58 to 62 to be safe. But he's a gorgeous man. He's very earthy. He's very protective. He's very grounded. He's not someone that you've come across before. So for me, it's a different type of relationship, which is probably a good thing. And this one is leading to a really strong commitment. We've got the Hierophant here. So for me, this is a commitment card. Not automatically marriage. If you want to get married, sure, there's a marriage there for you. But for me, it's more commitment sort of stuff for you. There's definitely beautiful changes coming, and definitely by the end of autumn, you're going to find things have really moved on. I would say that he will be coming, I wouldn't say it's early, I would say it's after July, and I know it's probably not what you want to hear, because everyone wants it now, but seriously, 6 months goes like that. Time is fleeing at the moment. So around about July time, this person is coming in. He comes across as a Gemini Taurus, so he'd be quite social and quite talkative. I really like his energy. A lot of happiness with this guy. So this is one that is for keeps. This is a major sort of twin flame sort of connection for me. It's really positive. Do you want to pull one just to see what you get with my other cards? See what you can come up with there. You're in the right place for this relationship. You know, Peter's pulled this beautiful, meditative, very centering sort of card. You know yourself now. You know what you don't want. You know what you do want. You have shifted your energy. You've released a lot of things. I just get a lot of peace coming this year, and just a really strong light coming right down you, and just being very much in your power and very proud. I want to get proud. I feel like you're going to be very proud of yourself, and you're not going to crumble into this relationship this time. You're not going to allow this person to control you. It's going to be very a partnership. So both of you are going to be resonating on the same level, and you're going to grow together. And he's quite aware. I wouldn't say he's in this field or anything like that, but he's done some meditation. He's probably tempted to have a look at yoga. I don't think he's done yoga, but he likes the countryside. I get him really enjoying nature. So for that way, he's quite connected. And this is a beautiful relationship. So this is really worth waiting for. You know, you paid your dues and it's coming.
It's so funny you saying that. What just kept coming up for me that I was going to say at the finish is that sounds like a relationship really worth waiting for.
It is worth it.
Totally.
It is.
Yes,
It's so good.
And it feels like she's got one or two things to sort out
Before
in the first few
comes.
months.
Yeah.
And that's why she's got to wait.
That's why he's coming.
Yeah.
But it's this
So
that
even
she's
if
got to
she's in-
attain. It's
yeah.
this. I know myself, and I'm not going to be pushed off my what do you call that? My
Out of
bouncing
equilibrium.
ball. Access. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be. No matter what happens, you're going to bend, you're going to move, but you're going to stay really strong in your centre. And this is a beautiful card. It's also peaceful.
And then
it's spiritual.
stay resolved.
Resolved.
This is going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, we have come to the end of the show. It's just we've just run out of time, as we always do. We could probably just go on.
We could go on for hours.
2nd of January to my birthday, the 3rd. You know, that's just as long as someone brings us food
Bring
and
out the
water, we can just keep
champagne.
going.
What are you doing for your birthday?
I have a group of my beautiful friends. It's always very low-key for my birthday. So we're just going to go to a little Italian restaurant that's walking distance.
Nice.
And they just make great homemade food, and the owners come out and sit with us and share drinks.
Nice.
It's just that's how it feels for me. Being Capricorn, I like it to be pretty low-key. So, so guys, just a few more shout-outs to finish off for today. We have Christina, Rose, Vicky, Ali, Rosie, Kaylee, Gloria, Daniela, Amanda. And I also want to, as we did say at the beginning, which you said so eloquently, once again want to thank the floor crew, because without their help each week, the show wouldn't happen. There wouldn't be any show.
Yeah.
And also, being the Christmas holiday period, it takes a little bit of extra effort for everybody to show up and to do this. So the fabulous floor crew, Rennie, Lee and Gary the Man, as the EP calls you. And yes, you are Gary the Man. I've known you for many years. You are Gary the Man. Peter, Eric and
take your
Ron.
glasses off.
Thank you so much, Kitty. There he is.
Hey.
Gary the Man. We go way back, Gary. We're all the way back to Channel 10 days with Kerry Ann Kennelly, don't we?
Love it.
Woohoo! Kerry Ann Kennelly. That's how we cut our teeth in TV. So, and thank you so much, guys, for coming in. It's always a pleasure.
Oh,
And
it's fun. It's
there's
such a
always
beautiful
so
energy.
much that is that you guys impart so much knowledge. And the same to you too, Amanda. You're just a wealth of wisdom. You really are the wise woman, and I feel that I can learn so much from you as I do every single week. So, guys, it's just a fabulous team, beautiful energy, and we'll see you next Thursday. We don't have a time set yet, but please look at Facebook. Keep checking Facebook for the time that we'll be on next Thursday, the 5th of January. Guys, have a wonderful New Year's, and we'll see you
Later.
See you later.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next year.
Happy New Year.